Hi, Field family, Field families. Welcome, Field Falcons, to your art cycle. My name is Victoria. I've been running the art program at Field Elementary for 2 years. I am the mother of 2 students that go to kindergarten and first grade. And this year, thanks to the never-ending support of the Field Elementary PTA, we were able to do it virtually. So you'll be meeting with me every week for the next 8 weeks to do art together. Every Monday, you will have a new video on YouTube, a tutorial of the project of that week. I will also submit on Class Dojo to your teachers to post a flyer with information of the project of that week so you can get all the supplies that you'll be needing handy. Seriously. And let's talk about your art kit that I sent home to you. So this is what you got. It looks something like this. Let's talk about everything that is inside your art kit. And you need to keep all your supplies in there after use. This little manila bag, paper bag, has 2 oil pastels. Some of you have met me before and you know that oil pastel is one of my favorite art supplies. They're kind of like crayon, but they're more creamy and smooth and they make really thick, bold lines. We're gonna be using these 2 to do a bunch of drawing. Keep them in the paper bag, in the paper envelope. You know that oil pastel may break. Don't get frustrated. They always do. They're meant to break, and we use the tiny little pieces throughout their life. So until you have a tiny little piece, keep using all the little pieces that keep breaking from your oil pastel and store them in your paper bag. We don't want to have smudgy, dirty fingers. Watercolor set. This one came with 1 paintbrush that it's, let's take a look, round. So we'll be using that round paintbrush, and I also send you a high quality paintbrush that it's flat. This is the ones we used to use in the art room. Take good care of this guy. It's a very good paintbrush, and it will help you cover surfaces faster than the little round one that came with the watercolor set. You will always find in my art room my best friend Sharpie. Sharpie is what I use to do most of our drawings. I don't use pencil in the art room. It helps me draw big and wonderful bold lines. I want you to take good care of Sharpie because we're going to be using him for drawing a lot. So once we're done using Sharpie, you need to put the cap in, and the job is not done until you hear the click. If it clicked, it's safe to go back to the bag. I sent you a snack Ziploc bag. This one has beads, wood colored beads, some string, and googly eyes. There are 2 different projects in this little bag. So some of you got really tiny little googly eyes. Make sure you don't lose those. We're gonna need them. Origami is the new addition of the art program at Field. I've been doing origami for the last 10 years since I've been teaching, and it's just a wonderful technique to do. All you need is paper, and there's tons of instructions online that you can do. So I have sent to you practice paper, which is the white one, Origami more fancy quality paper that has different designs and prints on one side, and then just a plain color in the other side. Those are ones you learn your shapes. You just use the fancy ones for the product, final product. And the tiny ones, see the different on, take a look at the different on the size. The tiny ones, you have 30 of these little ones. That's gonna be for 1 art wall paper project. So we'll be learning basic shapes on origami. We're gonna be doing them multiple times, and then we're gonna combine them in this wonderful project. So keep all those back in your baggie until we need to do origami. You have a whole bunch of paper. Let's talk about what's in here. This is photocopy print paper. We're gonna be using this project today for our first art project, this paper. And then you have a huge 12 by 18 inches paper that it can pin up with some cardstock paper. That's for an artist project that we're gonna be learning. So keep it together. Don't lose any of it because we're gonna need it. And then I send you just regular white paper and black. There's 6 whites and 3 black. They are all meant to do the art projects that you see in the back. Well, that's for the first cycle. I'm gonna be doing a little bit more harder projects, but you have extra paper, but not too much. So try not to use them all before the projects, because you don't know if you're gonna run low and then you're gonna have to go to the store and buy some more, and we don't want that to happen. So I hope you have fun during the art cycle. It was a wonderful experience to do it with the kindergarten and first grades, and I'm here if you need anything. You can just always reach out through an email. I will see you on our first Zoom class on Friday, February 5th, 6th, 7th. I'll see you next Friday, and have fun. Welcome, friends. Today is our first lesson of the cycle, art lesson, and we're gonna be making paper sculptures. And I have one right here that I made as a sample for you to see. Let's talk about what supplies you're gonna need today. I need you to have scissors, glue, and from your art kit, you're gonna get 1 black cardboard paper and the package that has 3 printer paper with 3 different colors. Okay, that's all you're gonna be needing today. Okay, so let's just talk about what's in a sculpture. And a sculpture is a work of art that has 3 dimensions. So what's the difference of something that is bidimensional versus to something that is 3-dimensional? Right here you see a piece of paper. It's a rectangle, and if I put it flat in the ground, it's bidimensional. It only has length and width. But if I push it together, you can start seeing some shadow. That means that now it also has height. So I can walk around this shape and I will only get like a different point of view from it. Okay, so that's the difference between a bidimensional shape. Bidimensional has only 2 dimensions, width and depth, and a 3-dimensional has 3 dimensions, width, depth, and height. So we're gonna be learning how to create all this volume on your paper to create sculptures. So at the end, you're gonna have lots of interesting shapes, and we're gonna have them glue in your cardboard, and it's gonna look something like this. This one is very full of different shapes, and it's a little bit more difficult than the one that we're gonna be making. I just thought it was a pretty sample to show you how when you look around a sculpture, it changes, and that's what makes sculpture so unique, that it gives you many points of view, right? So we're not gonna be using any kind of rulers. We're just gonna try to cut our lines very straight. We can fold paper if we need to follow some kind of guidance. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the black paper that we're gonna be using is not as strong. So for a sculpture like the one we're making, you know, it will tend to bend. If you want, you can always go to the pantry, and this is something I use a lot, and break a cardboard box from cereal, or even like just a shipment of cardboard. It's an incredible sturdy surface that you can use for these kind of sculptures. Here I have all the shapes that I'm going to talk to you about. So the first one is the simple one, is the straight line. How to turn this straight line into three-dimensional shape. We can keep it just like a bridge. If you just twist your paper a little bit, like curl it up, now it will turn into a loop. Oopsie, the loops are hard to hold. Like that. Now we have a different shape. We can also make your straight line, it can turn into a zigzag, just like this. Depends how many times you fold your zigzag lines, what the shape of it's gonna be. And when we're talking about these straight lines, notice that it's very important to be able to glue this, that we create two little folds at the end. Let's call those feet. So your shapes need to have some kind of support where you're gonna apply the glue in order to put them down on your paper to glue them. And then you can play with them and change a lot of the shape of the paper, just like that. The same thing I did with this one. I saved some space for the feet, just like that. So it depends how you wanna glue it, where the feet need to be. You can always, you know, play a little bit with it. The next one that we're gonna talk, look at this one. Same again, it's just a straight line, but instead of being so long and skinny, I made it a little bit wider, so it's more like a rectangle. I also just created a couple zigzag folds in the middle. I made my feet at the end so I can glue it and create my three-dimensional effect. The same rectangle I can curl. I can curl it just by rolling one end of my paper pretty tight. If this is hard for you to do, you can always use a crayon or a marker or a pencil, whatever you have in hand, and use this to help you fold. So I'm just demonstrating you all the shapes and how I made them. And once I start creating my own sculpture, I'll go through these steps all over again. Remember, you can always pause the video and work at your own pace. So now I have a loop. What did I do here? I create the same rectangle, but I cut it. So now I have a loop that opens like this, like funky hairs. This is what happens to this one. I curled it up and then I trimmed. I made my cuts, and now I have this funky looking shape. With this rectangle, what I did, I created my feet where I'm gonna apply the glue, and then I just had some fun folding it back and forth like an accordion. I did it all throughout the paper, and then I just trimmed the ends with my scissors, and now I have this funky looking shape too. I will show you how to create this curl, this loop. It's quite easy. You also start with a rectangle, but I cut the excess out, and then we can just glue it like this, and it creates a very interesting shape. This is the most original and fun piece that I've found online. It looks complicated, but it's quite easy. It's just a little bit time consuming. Again, it's just a rectangle folded in half and cut squares in one side. Then we're just gonna fold them in opposite sides and glue. Those will be the feet. And we kind of like build a wall with this one. Pretty interesting. And the last one that I want to show you, it's just because I don't want you to just work with squares. I'm going to show you how to cut a circle, trim one of the middles, the radio. And if you just glue those one on top of the other, you create this little cone that we can put wherever you want. Since this one doesn't have a feet, we'll just apply the glue in one side and keep it like this, because it will be really hard to glue it like this. Okay, let's get to work.